Get ready, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, start. Mr. Deputy Chairman, Sir, the Honorable Minister for Urban Development laid a statement on the table of the House that day concerning the progress made in the construction of industrial housing by the state governments, by the employers, and by the cooperatives of the industrial workers. Even in the supplementaries that I put to the Honorable Minister that day, and also in the discussion that I am going to raise today, the points that I wish to make out and make out very sharply are that the Housing Ministers' Conference held at Bengaluru in October 2007 was seized of the entire delay that is there in the construction of industrial houses. The conference was also seized of the fact that the question of cooperatives of the industrial workers coming into existence is also being hampered because certain legislative measures that government should take are not being taken by them. It was also brought to the notice of the government and to the notice of the Housing Ministers' Conference at Bengaluru in October 2007 that the employers were not taking this matter seriously, and it was also suggested at that conference that even decisions have been taken to bring about certain legislations in the country to force the employers to come forward with the construction of houses. Sir, at the 16th Indian Labour Conference, this subject was discussed at length by the employers, the employees, and the government representatives who attended that conference. It was at the 15th Indian Labour Conference that the employers agreed that houses might be constructed by them, but when it came to the 16th conference, the employers cleanly escaped their responsibility. The 16th Indian Labour Conference was held after the Housing Ministers' Conference in Bengaluru when the Housing Ministers' Conference itself had come to certain conclusions that legislative measures would be necessary in order to force the employers to construct the houses when the labor ministers conference this year also came to the conclusion that legislative measures would be necessary, that certain coercive measures would be necessary in order to force the employers to construct the houses. The National Housing Construction Bill that was suggested and contemplated at the Bangalore conference is not yet even under the consideration of the government. Sir, mere decisions by the government will not come to the rescue of the houseless employees. Mr. Deputy Chairman, as far as I could gather from the speech of the Honorable Member, his chief complaint is with regard to the not very satisfactory progress made by the industrial employer with regard to housing under the subsidized industrial housing scheme of the Government of India. I think it will be best to give the overall picture of the situation with regard to the subsidized industrial housing scheme. In the 10th 5-year plan, 450 crores rupees were allotted for subsidized industrial housing, and with 85,000 crore rupees as the average cost of tenement, this would have enabled us to build 1,30,000 tenements under the scheme. But, sir, during the last 2 or 3 years, there has been a considerable rise in the cost of construction, and moreover, under the rules, we have made it obligatory for each unit to have an independent bathroom and a latrine of its own. Formerly, the scheme contemplated two units sharing the bathroom and the latrine. But we thought that it was not a very desirable thing, and therefore now it is obligatory to have a latrine and a bathroom attached to each tenement. Because of the rise in the cost of construction and this additional expenditure of an individual bathroom and a latrine, the average ceiling has gone up to rupees 90,000. Therefore, the number of tenements come down automatically. In the last Indian Labour Conference, it has been recommended that government should not immediately take up the question of compulsion. Let us wait for some time. We have taken certain steps. We have increased the quantum of the loans. We have liberalized the mode of payment, and we have also made it possible for these people to acquire land from government for the tenements for industrial housing on a no loss no profit basis, and we are giving loans to the state governments to acquire land, develop the site so that the private industry could take advantage of this and get land. One of the principal difficulties which has stood in the way of construction of a suitable number, a sizable number of tenements has been lack of suitable land. Industrial development has taken place in our country in a very haphazard manner. In the industrial area of Kolkata, it is practically impossible to get lands within a reasonable price wherein the private employers could put up the tenements and a structure. I have made it very clear that what is needed is the outlook and approach that should guide us in our plan.